Hello, this is Jared Polak, founder of Entre Results, author of Entre Balance, author of Entre Business, one of the co-founders of Entre Results Academy. Just love serving the small business community, making a huge difference, helping you create a business that gives you the life that you want. Back for another awesome podcast. Houston, Texas is a major metropolitan city, not like perhaps the city you live in or perhaps the area you live in. There's a lot of people, and in this massive city, there are a lot of convenience stores, there are a lot of gas stations. And I remember moving to Houston, and as I became more accustomed to Houston, driving down some of the major highways, there was a gas station that stood out above the rest. And this convenience store or gas station is called Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's. I know if you're from Texas, you probably have heard of Buc-ee's. Listen, I just remember driving through on I-10, far from Houston, waiting 50 miles before I could get to a Buc-ee's. It's a destination stop for my wife and I. It was a destination stop for myself. And certainly now that we have kids, it's absolutely somewhere where we almost always stop when we're going. If there's other convenience stores along the way, if there's other gas stations along the way, we will wait just so we can make it to Buc-ee's. And there's a lot of things that make Buc-ee's great. But the one thing, and this is what we're going to talk about today, what makes you different as a business? What are your key differentiators? The one thing that makes Buc-ee's different, that is a game changer for their entire organization, is they have the most amazing, clean restrooms. They have the most amazing, clean restrooms. Now think about that for a second. I just think about growing up as a child, and we went on road trips. Everywhere we went, the restrooms were horrible. They're disgusting. You didn't even want to go in there. We actually went in roadside parks too, which were even worse at the time as a kid. But Buc-ee's did something that very few people probably would have thought about. They thought about marketing and creating a huge differential product based on the cleanliness of the restrooms. So to this day, you literally go into the restroom of Buc-ee's and there's an attendant on hand cleaning the restroom. There's a huge restroom. There's hand sanitizer everywhere. For those of you that have experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it is actually pretty cool. I think they have one or two people that are just on call all the time. They have huge checklists on how to keep it clean. There's someone always there to make sure that it's an amazing experience in the restroom. Now, restrooms probably in the past were something no one would want to invest any money in, kind of a second thought. You'd invest in other things. But it makes a huge difference, and they were a market disruptor. People know Buc-ee's for that, as well as it's changing the industry, at least in Houston, where other people now are forced to step up to have better restrooms because of what Buc-ee's did. Inspirational story about taking the ordinary, taking something that was simple and making it extraordinary, about taking a difference that people would not have thought about and creating something that honestly, it's hard for people to match. That's what they are known for. If you're a small business owner, if you're a sales professional working for a small business, what makes you different? What makes your company different? A few people that we have worked with truly in the small business community truly had a unique product or service. And that the question is easy for them. Maybe they're in a small town and maybe the cuisine at the restaurant that they serve is Ethiopian food where no one else around does that. Well, that makes it an easy differentiator, right? Or maybe it's a company that we've worked with that has a unique technology, a technology that no one else has, a technology that they created that was unique for a specific niche, and it totally makes them different. So that becomes easy if that's you. But the reality is most small business, you don't have anything that different. Maybe you're in an industry like insurance, where there's a lot of different insurance agents out there, or financial planning, or perhaps you do something else that is very common and you have to figure out a way to make yourself truly different. This is key and foundational to marketing. This is key and foundational to your marketing plan. What makes you different? And then oftentimes what comes from that is what can you guarantee, or what's your brand promise? When you think about what makes you different, what can you guarantee to the marketplace? What makes you different? Now, when I ask that question, when the coaches on Entre Results team ask that question, it's a tough question for a lot of people. Many people don't have an answer, and I hear a lot of things. One thing I always hear is our customer service is different. It makes us different than the competition. And yes, you can market customer service as being a unique differentiator, but to be honest with you, it's really not that different than what other people are marketing. A lot of times when people say customer service is different, they perceive that their customer service is tremendously better than their competition, but the reality is oftentimes it's not. Or customer service is too broad. What part of customer service? What specific element of customer service makes you so unique and so different that you stand out in a crowd? Oftentimes people say we care where our competition doesn't care. Well, that can make it different as well, but a lot of people in small business care, so that doesn't necessarily truly make you different. And then sometimes people say, especially if they're self-employed, well, I make the difference. I am the difference in why people do business with me if I'm self-employed. Well, that's true also, but what about you makes you different than the competition? What about you stands out above the rest? I remember when I was a child going to the doctor, and it was obviously you're sick, so you're not feeling good, but it was just a horrible experience. Generally speaking, the history I have with working with medical doctors is that their office is run not well. Now, I have many clients that have changed that perception, that do a wonderful job, and there's some that do it well, but oftentimes you go and you just wait forever. It just seems like it's just horrible customer service. So imagine if you have that perception of your mind of a doctor's office is just waiting and waiting and waiting and not having any good customer service while you're waiting, not having good communication, just sitting there waiting. Imagine if a doctor's office we guarantee, or what makes us different is you will wait less than 15 minutes to see an actual doctor. Or 5 minutes, or fill in the blank. What if they said we are different in that you won't have a horrible customer experience, or you won't have to wait crazy amounts of time to see a doctor? To me, that makes you different. You can market that. That's an example. There's some industries where they're known to not call you back. And I know for some people this is simple, but what if you say what makes us different is we'll call you back, or we'll call you back within an hour? That could make you very different depending on the industry that you're in. So it doesn't necessarily have to be some amazing differentiator, but just think about your industry. Where are you weak, or what are you good at? What are you better at than others, and how can you hone in on that difference? So what I want you to do as an exercise is write down all the things that make you different. Think about it. Brainstorm all the things that could potentially make you different. And eventually what you want to do is break it down into your top 3. Now, some other things to think about is just simply going and asking people that you work with currently, asking your clients, asking your vendors, asking them what do they perceive makes you different. And oftentimes you can get these ideas from communicating with your clients. Do some surveys out there. These are other things to think through. And once you get to your 3 differentiators, maybe hone in on what's that one thing you're going to guarantee, or what's that one thing you're going to really drive to the market over and over and over again. That could be your brand promise, your brand guarantee. And once you figure that out, or once you figure out what makes you different or what your guarantee is, then it becomes a part of your marketing message. It becomes a part of your marketing material. Every time you speak to someone, that might be in part of your tagline when you speak to groups. Or maybe it's on your website. It's a part of your whole marketing communication is what makes you different, or what's your brand promise or guarantee. This is part of strategy when we talk about business. This is something, if you've been in business for a while, you might need to look at if you want to get to the next level, or certainly if you're new. This is a thing that you can go to, that you can create that's going to get you much traction early on in your business. So I encourage you all to go out and take an action on figuring, discovering, articulating, writing down what makes you different, and then making it become a part of your marketing message. Go out and take action. Have a better than amazing day.